Hello everyone, in this video I want to talk about how we can find the zeros of a polynomial function and then also sketch a graph of that function. So we're going to look at one example. It says find the zeros of f of x equals x to the fourth minus 18x squared plus 81, then sketch a graph of the function. So let's start off by finding the zeros of the function. And essentially we want to know what is x when y is 0, or we want to know what is x when the f of x is equal to 0. So we'll go ahead and write our function down. X to the fourth minus 18x squared plus 81. And we want to know when f of x is 0, what is x? So we can just go ahead and plug in 0 for f of x. And now we can factor what we have on the right side. So if we look at what we have, imagine this is a quadratic trinomial, x squared minus 18x plus 81. It looks like a perfect square trinomial. So this would factor as x minus 9 quantity squared. Well, since we have our power of a 4 here, we're just going to make our inside of our binomial, instead of x minus 9, x squared minus 9. Okay? All right, so now essentially what we can do, this is x squared minus 9 twice, so it's kind of a repeated root here, so we can essentially look at it like it's just there one time. And this is the difference of two squares, so we're going to get x minus 3 and x plus 3. So now we can set each of these equal to 0, so we get x is equal to 3 and x is equal to negative 3. So what does this mean? So this means we have a 0 at negative 3 and we have a 0 at positive 3. So we can put those on our graph right there. So this one would be negative 3 comma 0, and this one would be positive 3 comma 0. So now another thing that we can plot is our y-intercept of our function. So we can put that at 81. So we'll put that right here. And we'll say this would be 0 comma 81. And now what we can do is we can use our end behavior of polynomial functions, what we know about end behavior, to sketch the graph from these 3 points. So we know that we have an even degree and a positive leading coefficient. So it should look something like a W, right? So we can go ahead and try and sketch. So let's connect these points first. So kind of going up like this and back down. Let's fix that a little bit. Going up and back down. Okay. And then from our zeros, we're going to go up and out a little bit. Okay, so up and out a little bit. So something like that, right? That would be around a good sketch for our graph, right? So what we need to know is what we have our two zeros, we have our y-intercept, and we know that our graph, as our graph approaches positive and negative infinity on the x-axis, our range, our y values are approaching positive infinity, okay? And that's how you can find the zeros of a polynomial function.